City Commission, City of Carrabelle, now in session for our annual budget hearing. Bevan, would you give the invocation, please?
Our loving Heavenly Father, in the precious and holy name of Jesus, we gather here today, Lord, to discuss the budget. I pray, Heavenly Father, for wisdom and guidance. Help us do the best we can for the people of this city. We love you and we thank you for your guidance and leadership. In the name of Jesus, amen.
Amen.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. This is to hold the first of two public hearings on the tentative budget and the proposed millage rate. Second final public hearing will be held on September 24, 2015 at 5:01 at Carrabelle Municipal Complex. The general public will be allowed to speak and ask questions prior to the adoption of any measures by the governing body. The governing body shall adopt its tentative budget rate prior to adopting its tentative budget. Prior to the conclusion of the hearing, the governing body of the taxing authority shall amend the tentative budget, recompute its proposed millage rate, and publicly announce the percentage, if any, by which the recomputed proposed millage rate exceeds the rollback rate. That percentage shall be characterized as a percentage of the increase in property taxes tentatively adopted by the governing body. Motion to adopt.
Okay, now we can have discussion now.
Yeah. Any discussion?
I was going to ask a question, Randy. The millage was 9.6 or something like that. It's down to 9. Is that?
No, the rollback rate was 9.2. The rollback rate, that would be what it would take to get the same amount of revenue as last year. But the proposed millage rate is 9 now.
9.
And from the workshop we had.
The millage rate is 9 this past fiscal year as well.
Yes, my name is James Spivey. I've got a couple of questions. First off, I want to thank the people who have worked on this budget quite diligently. Seem to have done a pretty good job.
Turn your mic on and speak in.
I got my hearing aids in, I can hear me real well. Is it on?
Yes.
Okay. I want to thank the members of this commission that worked on this budget. You've done supposedly a real good job. I just got a couple of questions I'd like to ask for my clarification as a taxpayer. Liability that the city pays for all employees, including commissioners. How is that based, per employee or the amount of coverage? Most insurance companies rate their exposure to set rates. And the reason I ask is this budget shows a disproportionate amount in some departments. So the question is, how do you determine?
It is based on the risk. The police department, for instance, has the most liability. Public officials has the second most, being the sunshine laws and stuff like that. It's basically your liability to be sued or accidents or something like that. Law enforcement's the highest, then public officials, and then the general liability covers all the others.
In other words, 8 employees in the water district would create more liability to the city than the 5 commissioners that are part-time?
No, the commissioners are more liability.
Anyway, some of the figures in that don't add up. And I'll bring them up at a later date because this budget is already set. And I do commend you for saving about $250,000 to the city of Carrabelle and keeping the millage rate. I noticed in the paper today that Apalachicola has got a millage rate of 9.35. So, getting in the right direction. Thank you.
Thank you.
see the total liability for water and sewer is $10,500.
And the liability for the 5 commissioners part-time is 12,000.
Right, but they're at a higher risk for some reason, and
Insurance company determines the village.
And we have 2 insurance guys that are here, so do y'all have any questions for them?
That is-
Currently, we're with Florida League of Cities, Florida Municipal Insurance Trust, and it's Tom Conley. He's here tonight. And we also have Brian Gaffin with Gaffin Insurance, who wants to present a proposal for insurance.
And where workman's comp's gonna be a lot higher in the water and sewer department than the commission, because they're more liable to get hurt, they're more liable to get sued, in short.
Okay, we had somebody wanted to speak.
Sir, did you answer it? Partly. I disagree, but you partly answered it. I can't see how 5 commissioners part-time would create more liability to this city than half as much as 6 full-time police, 5 full-time police officers and a part-time.
Well, I don't know how to answer that.
I honestly don't know either. I mean, it comes from, it's the insurance
Yeah,
rates we
that's
have.
You can answer it, I guess.
I'm Tom Conley with Florida League of Cities.
Turn it
Turn it off. Tom Conley, Florida League of Cities. He's probably referring to the public officials' employment practices liability. Those are encompassed in one premium. So it is covering the elected officials, but it's also covering staff. And a lot of that is covering employment matters. If you fire an employee and they are not happy about it and they come back and sue, there's coverage for that under that premium as well. So it's not only the elected officials, it's all city staff and anything they may do that they get sued for, which is generally employment matters.
Anyone else?
Brian?
My name's Brian Daffin. As you said, with Daffin Insurance Services out of Panama City, Florida. Thank you for the opportunity to present an insurance quote to you guys. Like Tom said, I mean, as it relates to the board and staff, I mean, that's where your lawsuits, i.e. discrimination of any kind, sexual harassment and stuff like that, and that's where you're going to be liable and where it'll come into play. As to the work comp, it's going to be higher for the folks working outside because they're more subject to get injured working on the water or whatnot than the folks, you know, inside doing the office duties. I don't know how far y'all want to get into the coverages and whatnot, but I represent a company called Preferred. They've been around since 1994. We do pretty much what the league does for you now. We compete with them quite a bit. I've been doing this since 1999. I write most closely the City of Apalachicola's insurance. I believe Ms. Lee Mathis would give me a good recommendation, an endorsement, if you will. I pretty much, in the package you hand out, it's been broken down more or less what my premiums are individually. A couple of highlights: we have a $1,000 deductible on most property damage claims, and the wind deductible, we'd be bringing you down from a 5% wind deductible to a 3%. And what that does for you, you had a couple of property scheduled on there, or a property scheduled on there for $1 million or so. So your deductible would be $30,000 on that particular one as opposed to $50,000 where you're at now. My total premium is $99,887, which would include all those line items you're reading and then the workers' comp separate on the other side. I've spoken with Miranda, and I emailed it to her yesterday, and then spoke to her before this meeting with you, ladies and gentlemen, and she blessed it, said it looked like everything was accurate. And we're offering this rate for 2 years. In other words, you can set your budget for next year. We're gonna give you that fixed rate of $99,887. At the end of the year, you're still insured. It just starts the payment breakdown plan again. If at the end of the year you're unhappy with us for any reason at all, you're subject to walk away with no, we shake hands and part as friends. If you're happy, we are bound and obligated to honor that same $99,887 rate, which makes budgeting purposes easier. Like I said, I mean, we can get into, we've got reinsurance for catastrophic events, a 250-year timeline, and more or less the same coverage that you're getting now. Is there any questions from the board?
So you're competing with the League of Cities?
Yes, sir.
Had Miranda do a comparison on the two?
She said it was comparable.
Best as she could with, with no
Compare.
insurance, yeah.
Okay.
Short notice, though. I mean, this is a lot of information.
Well, we got a quote in from them, we got a quote in from the league, shared the 2 quotes, and they've been kind of bidding back and forth, so this is the final one. So this is, I haven't had a chance to review it, I just got it today.
Is this the same insurance we had last year? Is this the same insurance?
No.
No, sir, this would be a
No,
new insurance
he's
company.
different.
We're
The League of
competing.
Cities, the guy I spoke earlier. Got the-
I write the insurance for Appalachian Cola. If y'all needed a reference or anything like that, I believe Lee Mathis would be a
The
good
thing about
reference.
it is, you come in here at the last minute to try to get us to change insurance.
What's
Yes,
the
sir.
difference in the price of the one we had and the one we?
It's comparable.
What's your price now?
The last quote I got from the league was $112,085, so about $12,000.
Mine's $99,887, and I'll commit to that for 2 years to you.
12, 13,000, something like that. Okay. It's pretty good savings, actually.
Now, as far as if y'all want to take them and compare the 2, this is not something that has to be decided tonight.
It binds effective October 1st.
Right. I
I'm
mean,
not
we've
gonna be-
budgeted the money for the insurance.
I'm retiring, so I'm not going to be here. It's going to be left up to the new commission. So they're the ones that need to review this as best they can.
Yes, sir.
But 12,000 to me is a good, decent savings.
A little more than 12, yes,
So
sir.
I would seriously
That's the
consider.
reason I wanted to know the prices of the 2 policies.
But I probably won't be the one making that decision.
Okay.
I don't think, I might. Sometime. Between now and then.
What did you say, October 1st?
October 1st,
So you
when
would be
it
the
binds,
ones
it'd
making-
be
Y'all
up
would
to
be-
you.
y'all would have to make the decision now.
It's on your shoulders,
Not
Mr.
now, but
Williams.
this month,
Before October 1st.
But they're going to be sworn in
on the 17th.
on the 17th. So they may be the ones making the decision.
17th of this month or October?
This month.
Swear me in, and then they can decide it in the final budget hearing on the 24th.
But anyway, we need to take a serious look at this.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, sir.
Is it apples and oranges, or is it administrative costs that you can operate cheaper, or what? How do you figure?
It is just the way.
Actuarially?
Yes, sir. I mean, some years the league beats me, some years I beat them. I mean, I've quoted against them with other municipalities, and like I said, there's nuanced differences. We used to have a claims made liability. They had an occurrence. I've moved this to an occurrence to give you an apples to apples general liability quote. We lowered the deductible for your windstorm. I mean, it'll save you $20,000 if there's a damage and or total loss to your structure valued at $1 million. we offer sewer backup coverage. As you know, when sewer backs up into folks' home, I don't know if this happens here, but it happens
Oh, yeah.
some. I mean, it gets to an argument as to, is it the folks' pipe from the road into the home, or is it, you know, the fault of the city at the road? So we offer a $5,000 sewer backup fee that I don't believe you currently have. Tom would be more to answer that. I'm sure more up on his policy than I am. But more or less, there's nuance differences, but more or less a apples to apples comparison. Yes, sir.
How many municipalities do you serve?
Me personally, I serve Apalachicola. Preferred,
The company.
the company, oh gosh, hundreds. You know, all over the state. Like I said, it's been around since '94, very reputable. It services here, that you're at Mexico Beach, City of Lynn Haven, City of Panama City. Gosh, I'm trying to think of another one. City of Springfield, I believe, still. And that's with a partner agent of mine over near Panama City, Florida. So we do quite a few municipalities up this way. And like I said, your neighbor over there in Apalachicola. And we
don't like Apalachicola.
Oh, I didn't mean to. I'm just giving a frame of reference. They had the little. You gonna help me out with that one? You saw me just digging and trying to help me. Okay. But we did pay the claims when Debbie came in and damaged their current city hall structure. And, you know, we paid the claim and got it done in a timely manner, I would think, and it is what it is today. So,
Okay.
I don't mean
I
to get
think
into
the
the.
board needs to make at least part of the decision somehow, whether it's
Yes.
when they make their
Yes.
next meeting or whatever.
It's certainly your decision to make. I just wanted to throw my hat in the ring and offer what my product is. So, and like I said,
Like I said, 12,000 is 12,000.
yes, sir. And
We need that coverage.
we'll guarantee that number for next year as well. So
But you
it's,
see, you got the League of Cities now. Are they gonna come back and make another proposal?
that's what
That's
puts
why
me
we're
in a
down this low,
bad,
'cause
Yeah,
they
I
were.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? I brought my best number.
I understand.
Yes, sir.
But what I'm saying is he's sitting right there, hearing
Sure.
what you're saying.
Right, and am I gonna get the opportunity to hear what he says before, I mean, so it's.
And that's why we basically had them come here. We haven't in the past, but, because it started out about 120,000, it's been rolling down, so we thought, well, maybe we can get it down even further.
And so now you're saying if we decide we don't want this, we're not obligated for 2 years?
You're not obligated for 2 years, but I'm obligated for 2 years at that number.
Okay, and if
So-
we
so-
decide we don't want your
And
coverage
you
next
decide you
year,
like the league better, at the end of the year, you can walk away, absolutely.
and the premium is still the 99,000?
99,887, and that's the total of the workers' comp and the package policy with all your property, automobile, and liability coverage. Yes, ma'am. And we only audit the work comp, so if the liability, you know, would change or anything like that, we're not gonna audit that. But if your salaries go, you know, way up or something like that, that does get audited like it does now, so or anything like that.
So if the salaries go up, then the insurance, the premium would go up?
There would be an audit, yes, ma'am. Or if you bought another $1 million, building and wanted to insure it, obviously, we would endorse that
Yes.
number. That would happen at any time with anyone, during the policy period, yes,
Well,
ma'am.
anytime you change,
Yes.
you add something.
Yes,
That's with any company.
that's gonna be with anybody. I'm just, as it stays, we will honor that premium for both years. And the only thing that change would be the rate of endorsement. I mean, I'm not gonna double the rate you're paying on property X and apply a rate double that to property Y. If you'd have bought it, it's gonna be a comparable rate with what you're paying,
Let me ask you, I'll ask the board a question. I gave my opinion about the new board being involved in the situation. But if you want to make a decision, you can make it tonight.
Well, I agree with your opinion, and we do have the 2 new commissioners here listening, so they'll be briefed on it.
Okay? All right, let's do it. So we're not gonna make a decision tonight.
Fair enough, yes, sir. Well, like I said, I do appreciate the opportunity to present it.
Sure.
And your time. Thank you. Is there any more questions for me?
I don't-
We can call you if we have.
Absolutely. My contact information is there, and I can be here for any meeting, or I can be available to answer any questions by phone.
Well, as far as this board, we understand where you come from, so you don't have to worry about it, it's just a new one.
Yes, sir.
We've got two of those here,
Okay.
so who's missing?
Miss Olivia.
Lydia.
Okay.
So that's the only one I'm missing. But anyway, they'll be in office this 18th.
Okay. But y'all mind if I call you around 19?
All of them. I don't at all.
Yeah, you're the one retiring, that's fine. Like I said, thank you for your time.
Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Can we get this in like an itemized thing for each of the?
Well, we have the
I got
package.
it. Here's the other commission, I've got a copy, an extra copy of it.
That'd be good.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate it.
Do you mind if I say a couple of things?
No, sir, go right ahead.
I
Did you-
would,
Did you give us your name last time you were up?
Tom Connolly,
Okay.
Florida League of Cities. There's a couple of things that he commented on that I want to give a rebuttal on, but I would ask that you think of the League of Cities more from the service side. We are your association. You know, the attorneys have the Florida Bar. They also have their Municipal Attorneys Association. The cities of Florida have the Florida League of Cities. And every state has a municipal association of some sort. And what we exist to do is to serve you and help you be a better city. And staff reaches out to the League of Cities all the time for different things. We have legal staff on hand. We have technological experts that help cities with different types of income that they may be missing. The reason we're in the insurance business is because our cities needed us to. There was a time in the late 70s when the regular insurance market had just walked away from cities and said, you know, we don't like sunshine laws and all that stuff. We just don't really want to insure cities. And so there was a crisis, and those mayors came to the league and said, we need your help. We can't find workers' comp. And that's how the league got into the insurance business, and it's the Florida Municipal Insurance Trust is the name of the insurance. It's turned out to be a great endeavor for us. That was the best solution to that need for the cities, and it's turned out to be a great business to be in. Here we are 30 years later. We are by far the largest insurer of cities in Florida. I would say we insure close to 70% of the cities in Florida. The preferred program he was talking about has a little over 50 cities in their program, so 5 times as many cities. We're not always going to win the pricing war. We are in what they call a soft market now. Florida hasn't had a hurricane strike us in 10 years. And that means the money's flowing in the reinsurance market. People want to get in Florida. They are offering crazy prices. And when the hurricanes do hit, we're the ones that will still be here. We have nowhere else to go. We are Florida. We are local governments. We're here to serve you. We come from a service company mindset. We're nonprofit. Our board is a group of elected local city officials. So everything we do and the way we design our program and our coverage is all with our cities in mind. Every other company has a profit motive of some kind or another. Somebody is behind the program who is making profit for their stockholders. My paycheck will not change based on what you decide to do here. I'm not here to make a commission or not. That's just the way we approach things. So I'm just here to help you understand the difference between the programs. Yes, there is a difference in that windstorm deductible, but he didn't mention that he's got a $10,000 minimum windstorm deductible, so you're always going to have at least a $10,000 deductible before you have any windstorm claim. And in our experience with windstorms, it's the little things around the buildings and the fencing and that type of thing that blows away first. Your building doesn't generally get damaged. City buildings in general are pretty solid. I'm not so sure about the comments about the rates being, the premium being the same. I've seen these quotes from Preferred and they say the rates will be the same. That's not the same as the premium being the same. The premium is dependent upon your exposures. If your payrolls change, if your buildings change, your vehicles, your losses, that can change your premium. We do have sewer backup coverage. I believe we have $25,000 for what we call no-fault sewer. When it's not the city's fault, we will pay $25,000 for cleanup, calling it no fault. When it is the city's fault, there is no limit. It goes up to your $1 million of liability coverage that you're carrying. And if you really want to get into specifics of coverage, I'm kind of glad the police department's here because they may like this one. Just as an example, you can't just look at premium. Here's an exclusion that's in the preferred policy that's not in ours, under the police. You can probably picture a situation where the police arrest someone and then they come back, get an attorney and say they were sexually harassed while in police custody. Or the officer pulled me over and said, show me something and I'll let you go. We get those kind of allegations all the time. The preferred policy has an exclusion in there that says anything arising out of any actual or alleged rape, sexual assault, sexual battery, sexual molestation, sexual discrimination, sexual harassment, sexual relations, sexual intimacy, sexual acts, sexual activity, sexual handling, sexual exploitation, exhibition, exposure, undue familiarity, alienation of affections, any behavior of sexual connotation or purpose, both direct and indirect, including the negligent employment, investigation, supervision, reporting to authorities, or retention of any police officer for whom any insured is or ever was legally responsible. That is a serious exclusion. And there's things like that you got to think of more than just $12,000 in premium.
Okay.
There's a lot more to it. That's all. Thank you.
You got it?
But I just wanted to ask, you talked about the wind deductible, and that the preferred had a $10,000 minimum deductible. And what is yours?
What that quote says is it's 3%, but it's a $10,000 minimum.
And what, you have 5%, but do you have a minimum?
The minimum would be $500, which is our, what we call all other perils deductible.
But it's 5% of the value of the structure damage. So if it's a $100,000 structure, it's a $5,000 deductible, not $1,000.
Right.
If it's a $200,000 structure, it's a $10,000, not.
But like I said, if you have fences or light posts blown over and they're on your policy, you would have a $10,000 deductible with them before you can claim anything.
Okay. I didn't mean to get y'all.
I have a question then for Keisha and or Courtney. So does this then include our membership with the Florida League of Cities, or do we pay that extra?
We pay that extra.
Extra. So we could still continue to be a member of the Florida League of Cities and have all of their services.
Okay. Does that take care of everybody? Are you happy with your answers?
Yes. Thank you.
All right.
If that's everybody, then you can move forward with the resolutions.
Want a motion to adopt the millage rate? I need a motion.
To adopt the tentative millage rate
tentative.
Of 9.0.
Yeah.
I'll motion to adopt the tentative millage rate of 9.0 for the fiscal year 2015-16.
I have a motion.
Second.
Have a second. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. All right. A motion to adopt the tentative budget.
Before we do that, can I address the commission on the police budget?
Sure.
For the record, I'm Craig Kincaid. I'm your chief of police.
The proposed budget was going to cut the police department budget by $32,170. In the training budget, we had budgeted the same as last year, $1,500. If on October 1st, before the new commission and new mayor, there's a issue of appointing the new chief of police and a new full-time officer, and that happens to be the officer that we proposed, we're going to have to pay that crossover course, and the cost of that is $2,600. What I would like to do is I would like to move $1,000 from the vehicle maintenance and repairs budget, bringing that down to $7,000, up to the training, and then take another $100 that was going to be in the cut. We'd still be cutting the budget in the police department, $32,070, and put that in there so that I've got a line item budget for training, $2,600. That way, if we hire that officer.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
All you're doing is transferring funds.
Yeah, and I'm also asking that $100 be transferred back into the police department that we were going to cut.
All I'm saying is you don't need to do that here.
Okay.
Do that at a regular meeting, just transfer line item.
Okay. I have done that in the past with everything that we've over budgeted, but if this is going to be the public record, I want to come out and say I don't want to propose a budget for a training course that is underfunded at this point. And that's one of the things that I want to do. Now, I'm not saying that that officer is going to be hired. I'm not saying that Deputy Chief Huntings is going to be the next chief of police, but that's an issue that the next mayor and the next commission is going to have to decide, if not on October 1st, shortly thereafter. And we can't afford, with our skeleton staff, we cannot afford to be understaffed, because it's going to get real critical real fast if those decisions aren't made October 1st.
So he's trying to plan his budget then, is what, and now if this doesn't come to pass and he does not need that training, that could be reallocated back.
That's correct. And I do that on a regular basis. If I go over budget in one item, I transfer it and I just let them know where I'm taking it out of. I just want to go on the record tonight, since I'm retiring on September 30th, saying I don't want to commit this city to a training course that we've never had to do before, because we've always required people to be fully certified by FDLE prior to being hired, with $1,100 not in the budget for a course that we will have to pay if we're going to hire Gene.
So you want the training budget to say 2,600?
Correct. I would like the automobile repairs to be $7,000. And I would like to put $100 back into the training budget so that our cut from the general fund would be $32,070.
Why don't we just do 6,900 in vehicles?
We can do that.
Can we do that?
We can do that.
And then we won't be changing the budget, just moving a few line items.
I have no problem with that. I just want to go on the record, like I said, and I don't want to be proposing a training budget that we know is going to be understaffed if we hire this individual on the night of October 1st. Because I won't be your chief of police anymore by then.
Did y'all get that?
I haven't.
Thank you. That's the only issue I've got.
So, 521461 will now be 6,900, and 521341 will be 2,600. But the overall number will stay the same.
Okay, anything else? Need a motion to adopt the tentative budget?
Make a motion to adopt the tentative budget.
I'll second that motion.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Okay.
Go to the
So,
CR.
Just CRA.
no, we need to read the resolutions and pass them.
Yeah. Resolution 09,
No, 03.
03.
Sorry, that was.
Where is 03? Resolution 03, 2015, resolution of the City of Carrabelle, Franklin County, Florida, adopting tentative levying of ad valorem taxes to Franklin County for fiscal year 2015-16, providing for an effective date. Whereas the city of Carrabelle, Franklin County, Florida, on September 10th, 2015, adopted the fiscal year tentative millage rate following public hearing as required by Florida statute 200.065. Whereas the city of Carrabelle, Franklin County, held a public hearing required by the state statute 20.065, and whereas the gross taxable value for the operating purposes not exempt from taxation within Franklin County has been certified by the county property appraiser of the city of Carrabelle at $97,565,447. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the city of Carrabelle of Franklin County, Florida, that the 2015-16 operating millage rate is 9%, which is less than the rollback rate of 9.2106 mils by 2.29%. This resolution will take effect immediately upon its adoption.
Motion.
I'm waiting for a motion.
Oh, I'll motion to adopt Resolution 03-2015, adopting the millage rate of 9 mils for fiscal year 2015-16.
I have a motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried.
541.
The other 04,
Yes, sir.
a resolution of the city of Carrabelle, Franklin County, Florida, adopting the tentative budget for fiscal year 15-16, providing for an effective date. Whereas the city of Carrabelle, Franklin County, Florida, held a public hearing as required by the Florida statute 200.065, and whereas the city of Carrabelle, Franklin County, Florida, set forth its proportions and revenue estimate for the budget for the fiscal year of 2015-2016 in the amount of $2,630,735. Therefore, be it resolved, the city of Carrabelle, Franklin County, Florida, that the fiscal year 2016 tentative budget be adopted. This resolution will take effect immediately upon its adoption. Motion.
I'll motion for Resolution 04-2015 for the budget for fiscal year 2015-16.
I have a motion.
I'll second.
I have a second. A motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried.
Okay, now we can do the CRA.
If you want.
Mayor, if we could just convene and we come back as the CRA board.
Oh, okay. You want a recess, or you want
Get her done.
okay, how are we gonna do that? I guess we better recess.
Yes.
Something else.
That way,
Okay,
well, the city, the board needs to adopt, the city commissioners need to adopt the CRA budget. But we'll have discussion first.
Well, now, are
So
you
we'll
gonna-
just recess, have a
That's
discussion.
what I said, we're gonna have a recess discussion, and then you're gonna have to convene the other board, right?
Right.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay. The City of Carrabelle City Commission is in recess. You want a time on that, or
5:45 recess.
do what?
We don't,
Okay, I'm gonna call to order the CRA board. Discussion on the budget. For your information, we set them forth.
Along with two other members.
I went ahead and reviewed this budget, this actual budget, and it's what we discussed at our CRA budget meeting, where we discussed the proposed projects and budget subsidies to the general fund.
there was just the one typo that got fixed, for the line item 512614. So if you have the old one and you look at this one, the overall number at the bottom is a little bit different. I had 2,000 in there instead of 20,000.
And then there was another typo where I had 500,000 for a bench, and it should have been $500. I think that's from repaired.
Any public comments?
Any public comment on the CRA?
Okay. Well, thank you, guys.
Will we be able to get after October 1st, a year-to-date on projects and?
Yes, we will, and then we'll actually have to, in a couple months, we'll need to go in and fix.
Probably reallocate.
Need a motion?
We need to go back to the board again.
Oh, that's right. Okay. So it's not. I'm gonna adjourn
5:46.
Adjourn the CRA meeting and call the city meeting back into session.
It's the city of Carrabelle, go away.
And then a motion to,
Yeah, motion to adopt the CRA budget.
Make a motion to adopt the CRA budget.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried.
I wanted to ask a question on this first budget that we passed a while ago. Was there any funding left when they got approved the year? They put it back into the general fund? Is that what they did?
it's the balance forward.
Okay,
It'll all be included into that.
I just want to make sure.
Okay. Any more business? Meeting adjourned. Thank you. Here for the swearing in, because I have a doctor's appointment out of town. So I'd like to welcome y'all. And
Well, we appreciate your service. You started pitch hitting, and I think you did a great job.
thank you.
We thank you. We thank Mr. Putnam also